double anti-bingo race today. There is the bingo card pasted in chat where the runners have been assigned a row, column, or diagonal. In this case, it will be column 2 that they have to do all 5 goals in that column. And then they will have to do one other, that's the anti part of the double anti-bingo. And then the double part is they will have to pick another row to pair with this. Unlike a lot of other randomizer categories for Super Metroid, double anti-bingo runs on the stock cart, and so we begin in the ship, which is always a nice thing to do, Sarah's Escape, because you get time to think about your card and how you're going to want to route things. So when people ask to see the card, if people could repost it for them, the assigned here are collect all 4 reserve tanks, get the criteria power bomb, collect 60 plus missiles and 20 plus super missiles, activate 4 or more of the Brinstar save stations, there are 5, and then activate the criteria map station. Some of these tiles are new, as I'm in the process of balancing the. One of the new ones here is the fact that save stations now and map tiles have to be activated before you are allowed to claim done on them. The activate Brinstar save stations is also a new goal for the runners. For those who don't know, there are 5 Brinstar save stations. The 2 that are the important ones that you have to choose between are the Etacoons, because you need to come back with power bombs to break down into that area to be able to get access to the save station, or the one all the way over by Kraid's Lair. The other 3 being Spore Spawn and don't recall the other 2 right now off the top of my head right now, are pretty much on their way, and they'll just have to remember where they all are. Yes, indeed. I am using push to talk, and I'm also trying to get some stuff so we can get the card set up in the background. So sorry if I keep dropping out while the runners do their initial cleanup. And good thing for Kip, he remembers where the criteria map station is. I did not. It looks like Asdur chose not to go to the Crateria map station on his way up. It's an interesting choice there. He could be planning on hitting it some other time when it's a little faster. He will have to be coming up this way to get the Crateria power bombs after all. The answer is no, David. Everyone's favorite bomb, Teresa. Both runners easily taking him down and moving on. So let's talk about what the runners might be trying to pair here. So 4 reserve tanks will require a dip into Upper Norfair as well as Meridia to get the thing in the sand pit. Therefore, they will likely not want to have any Lower Norfair goals here, like the activate Lower Norfair save station or finish in Metal Pirate Room, or defeat Golden Terizo. Those are all still possible, but most likely we're going to try to avoid row 1, column 3, and row 3, and then as well column 1. So looking at the stuff on the far right side, for row 2, almost certainly not, 11 plus E-tanks, even though, so 15 plus missiles is free because you have to get 60, and then collect one of the suits is free. Wave Beam is free, and they have to get Crateria Power Bomb. So it's not completely out of the realm that they would want to go for that. But 11 plus E-tanks is a real pain to do. So I can't, and I hope for my sake, I don't want to track, at least 11 E-tanks is easy to track compared to the missiles. Row 4, Meridia Power Bomb isn't too bad because they're going to have to be going to the sandpit areas anyway, even though it does mean looping back through. All 5 Brinstar energy tanks is also not, is pretty terrible actually because they have to get speed booster and come back for the waterway tank. Then destroy one of the Golden 4 statues, that's pretty easy. And again, row 5, I highly doubt they'll be doing row 5. So of the rows that they could pair, I would say row 2 or 4 are possible. Then the other thing that I think we could see a runner do is pairing column 5 instead. Well, that's interesting, Asdur. Asdur chose to skip Charge Beam, which is, if he... There is the tile in the row 1, column 1, collect or skip both Wave and Charge Beam. So he could plan on doing that, which would be interesting, and he's choosing to go down the red tower. Whereas Kip is choosing to defeat Spore Spawn. So maybe we will see a row 1 in the Lower Norfair save station. Looks like Asder is making his way over to the Kraid save station. We'll be interested to see if he actually kills Kraid for the Varia suit. Kip getting the moonfall and that fun graphical glitch that goes along with it. Nice moonfall, Kip. I would hope Kip grabs his Spore Spawn save station soon. Or maybe he'll be doing that on the cleanup part of the route. And Asder entering the Kraid fight. Kip indeed will be getting his charge beat. So now he has to, if he wants to do row 1, he'll have to go over to the wave beam. Again, I linked the card in chat for anyone who's joining us late. We're having some technical difficulties with the card restream bot. And as such, we're running until it gets up. We just have to reference the piece in the chat. Nice kill for Asder, getting his Varius. As well as getting one of those Brinstar energy tanks. Could be going for row 4. Oh, hey! There's a card! We can see it! It might be a little skewed, but we can see it! As they're heading for everyone's favorite item, the high jump boots. And Kip remembering to get his save station over by the Kraidster. We'll just have to accept the... Oh, they're going to try to fix it for us. Meanwhile, Kip gets us the Kraid kill. Gets his Varia suit. And Asder is heading towards the speed booster. Hope he remembers to grab his Norfair reserve tank here. We'll see if Kip is interested in some more Brinstar energy. Indeed, Kip is. Speed booster for Asder. Gonna be heading back the other way. Still not having too much insight into the runners' routes here. I expect both runners will not be doing row 2 or column 5 at this point. They do, of course, currently have the tile marked in case they choose to not pick up the gravity suit. But getting that reserve tank out of the sand pit without gravity suit is really frustrating and annoying. So I have to imagine that both runners are going to be heading up to the wrecked ship before they do anything. And of course, they are both heading down first because there is the reserve tank in the wrecked ship that requires the speed booster. Speed booster will also be quite handy for getting that criteria power bomb, so they can just spark all the way up as opposed to doing the ever so slow bomb jump. At this point, I would expect to see Asder head straight back up to the wreck ship. No real reason to grab anything more here in Upper Norfair. And then Kip will be shortly behind. I do remember that, of course, Kip beat the Spore Spawn, and as well as he's already activated his criteria map station. So Asder has currently picked up neither wave nor charge right now. So he does still have that tile. Kip, on the other hand, picked up the charge beam and has not yet grabbed the wave beam. If he goes and grabs the wave beam, he will get that tile back. And with that speed booster grab that firmly locks out row 3 and column 3, not terribly surprising. And it looks like Kib is indeed heading towards that wave beam. Meanwhile, Asder is heading up towards the Alpha Power Bombs to go into the wreck ship. I really hope neither runner wants to get the 35 power bomb tile, because I don't really want to track 35 power bombs on top of everything else. Asder getting the second Brinstar save station. He has the Spore Spawn one left to do, the Edicoons one, and then wherever the one on the initial tower drop down is. I can't remember which door. I'm surprised Kip he skipped that missile there and I just missed it. Figured there'd be a pretty free missile tank to help get him towards 60. 60, of course, being 12 total missile tanks picked up. Kip also getting his wave beam tile, but as I highly doubt he will want to pick up 11 energy tanks and then not have gravity suit. I don't think that will be a tile that will help. As they're entering his Fantoon fight, has more E-tanks than normal, but they're not full. This is and he has no charge beam if he accidentally enrages Fantoon to do pseudo screws. So we'll have to have all eyes on Asder for this. Does have some decent amount of reserve tank energy though. Ooh. And has Varia suit, that also is definitely a big help. Kip following shortly behind. And Fantoon down. Good. Kip also remembering to get his next Brinstar save state. We'll get a really good idea if Kip is doing row 1 when he goes into the wreck ship. Fairly certain at this point that he is, because he went and killed Spore Spawn, but he always could have changed his mind. But that all 15 wreck ship missiles will see him go to the right in the attic, as well as grab the spooky missiles before killing Fantoon. And no surprise, as they're going to pick up some more Superman. Kip did indeed pick up the Norfair reserve tank. Both runners currently sitting at 2. And there's our confirmation. Kip will be going for row number 1. My current count for the runners is that Asder has 40 missiles right now, and Kip also having 40. Asder having a little bit of trouble in the attic here. Finishes clearing it out and heads out. Hopefully he does a little bit of farming before bowling, though. With those reserve tanks on, it's really easy to get double spike hit. Oh, no good energy drops for Asder. But he's going in, 120 with Varia. That's, I believe, he should be pretty safe. And he makes it over, no problem, only 2 hits. Why do I ever doubt? Nice clean Fantoon kill for Kip as well. Gonna go head up and get his supers. And the reserve tank for Aster. As well as the wonderful graphics. Nice, they're getting some more missiles here under the... My count for him is now 10, but that could be wrong. Good job to remember to open that door, Kip. Don't want to have to kill all the enemies again. I now expect Azure to be heading over to his Criteria Power Bomb. Oh, he's going to refill for me. That's really helpful. And indeed, he is at 10 missiles and 3 supers. Oops! Esther got the Criteria Power Bomb, and I was clicking the Meridia Power Bomb. Don't think we'll be seeing that sandpit this day. See if Azure remembers to get his Criteria map station on the way down. Looks like he will. Of course, the runners are allowed to watch the stream or listen to the stream if they so desire. Nice Terminator spark there, or fall there, Aster. I wonder if he's gonna go destroy one of the golden statues. Nope, not going for row 4 then. Getting his 15th wreck ship missile. And with that, both runners have 50 or more missiles. Aster is grabbing his 3rd save station. Or not, Aster just wants the tank. It doesn't want the safe station down here. Interesting. There is, of course, the Spospo station that he could be grabbing. Did I miss a safe station for Esther? I'm surprised he's skipping that one as well, but it looks like he's going to be going for collect all 5 Brinstar energy tanks. Meanwhile, Kip heading down the red tower rather than back in. There we are. Esther's now heading back up to that safe station. And with that, Asder has located and saved in 4 of his necessary stations. Kept choosing to take the Sloter's refill. Wonder what he's going for. Uh-oh, he's leaving Brinstar. It's an interesting choice. I definitely don't think he's saved at enough stations yet. And that's another Brinstar energy tank for Asder. I'm actually trying to remember which one he has left. I really hope he doesn't think, oh, he's got the ceiling E-tank left. But it's interesting. Okay, so he's getting all 5 energy tanks, but he didn't destroy a golden statue, and so he's not doing row 4, but he's also skipped multiple power bombs, so he's not doing column 1. I'm so confused. Meanwhile, Kip is getting his 4th reserve tanks. Everybody loves Kappa tanks, right? If you're curious, I assigned this card solely so I could make the runners pick up all the reserve tanks. They get so ignored in randomizer. As they're confirming for me that he did indeed forget to destroy a golden statue. That makes much more sense for his path now. Although, if he had changed to row 4, I'm surprised he didn't pick up the charge beam. And if chat could confirm for me that Kip has not visited 4 Brinstar save stations. I believe he has not. It looks like Kip's going to be running down to the lower Norfair save station here to get his last tile for row 1. So we know what Asder's path is now. Asder, I believe, needs 1 more missile, and then we'll need to get 3 more super missile packs. Are you skipping the Spore Spawn Supers, Asder? Or did you get those already and I missed it? Nice fast pillars from Kip. That short charge is real hard. So Asder will be heading into Meridian now to try and finish there. So Kip has not done in the IRC chat. That's me not being able to do a good job tracking here. So he was saying that he did save in 4 Brinstar stations and that I just also miscounted his missiles. Oh wait. So the reason why I don't have the 4 Brinstar save stations marked for Kip is because he saved in the Meridia tube, and he was counting the Meridia tube as one of the Brinstar save stations. Sorry, everyone. While I'm dropping off commentary, trying to talk in the IRC chat while we debate what are the Brinstars. Don't worry, Asda, we're not ignoring you as you also valiantly try to finish. I have definitely completely missed what he's picked up though, so we're just gonna trust the runners here that they have the right amount of things. And now Asder has his Meridia Power Bomb. And I believe he picked up the reserve tank while I was checking on Chet, and he has also died. So we have Kip finishing in sort of first place because he disagreed with the definition on the card for me, and that's why we do these. With an official SRL time of 37:20. Ase101 off stream, in fact, finished second with a time of 38:46. And then Asder finished in third with a time of 40:47. We'll see if both of us, if both of our restream runners want to join us for an interview. Sorry for the poor tracking here, guys. This one had a lot of things to keep track of, plus a few other technical difficulties, so I wasn't able to keep 100% on top. Looks like Kip is gonna do the gentlemanly thing here and go back for his save station. Of course, it's just a friendly community race. We're all having fun here. Anybody can join the community dab races. Don't feel like you have to have had a lot of experience or anything like that. He's checking his map in Meridia. And at that point, he then got undones. Oh. And thank you, Kip. But such a good sport. So with that dot undone, Canadian as Aussie is first, Asder is second. Canadian Owl has finished with an official SRL time of 44:52. And Kip has now refinished with an official SRL time of 45:16. Unfortunately, Asder is going to be busy and will not be able to join us for an interview here. We will see if Kip wants to. Welcome, Kip.
Hey, Lunars, can you hear me?
Yep.
GG, what's up?
That was a fun race. I had some issues getting the bot up and run at the beginning, and then I just picked the tile because I'm like, I want to make you guys pick up all the reserve, and I didn't realize how many different things I was gonna have to track as solo commentary. So I still have no idea how many missiles you actually have.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got 60. I planned it out to have 45 before wreck ship, and then obviously my chosen row was the top one in all 15 of those. So unless I miscounted, I'm pretty sure I got to 60 on the dot.
I'm sure I'll believe you there. Asder was nice enough to save him the ship for me, so I could check his missile count. Yeah,
while we're interviewing, I'll go actually get a refill now, just so I know for sure. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that
I'm very confident. I am very confident that I just missed you picking up. Like, I for some reason saw you skip the missiles by the Norfair reserve tank, and that wouldn't make sense. So I'm sure you did get those, and I just missed it.
I did not get the ones in the reserve room by default. So anyway, we'll see here in a minute. I guess I either have 55 or 60. So if I only have 55, then I double. I have to double
I'll trust your count over mine because I know that I missed things. So how about Brinstar Safe Stations?
Yeah, there we go. I got 60. So yeah, I guess let me sort of explain what I was thinking on that one, which I think is going to be fairly obvious, and then I'll kind of talk about what I think about that tile as in general. Number one, by definition, I clearly missed the save. I actually, on the way to Spore Spawn, thought that it would be easier for me to do the one at the tube. And the reason I did the tube was because unless I'm thinking incorrectly, it probably is the only area of the game that I guess is officially part of one section of the map, but the music is not. It's the Brinstar music. So when
I definitely doubted myself when you said that in IRC chat. I was like, "Uh-oh, did I mess up that?"
So by definition, I mean, if you look at the game, you know, all the maps online say so, and then I even went just to double check here for myself, and when you press start, it says Meridia. Now I don't actually know if it. Another interesting question would be like, does it say Meridia when you enter that room the first time, like, you know, that you play and you haven't broken any tubes or anything? I would assume it probably still does. But anyway, so obviously I was under the impression that that was a Brinstar save, and it isn't. So, you know, that cost me this race. But really, if you think about it, like, you know, I purposely skipped the Spore Spawn one. Had I just got that one instead, it would have been probably, now that I think about it, I didn't think at the time, but it's probably faster anyway. So I still would have won. So I'm not like, I don't care what SRL says. You know, I'm happy with my performance.
And it's if you were listening in the chat, you would have heard me saying, "Huh, Kip's skipping the stations. Uh-oh, why is Kip leaving without getting 4 Brinstar safe stations?"
Well, if you think about it, though, I would have had to double back anyway, and I don't think Aussie finished that far behind me, so I don't think it would have mattered any.
And Asder actually, as he walked by the golden statues, I said, "Oh, I guess Asder's not doing row 4." And then about 2 minutes later, Asder in chat, "Oh, I'm an idiot." And then he had to circle back to get his golden statue for row 4.
Yeah, I don't even know. I didn't even pay attention to those. Like, once I just kind of figured out what I was sort of willing to do and what I didn't really want to do, what I wanted to avoid, I just kind of rolled with mine and didn't look at anything else. But let me sort of give a quick synopsis, and I want to sort of warn everybody because, you know, everybody always sort of wants to put their own interpretation of your tone on what you say. But like basically, everybody's probably going to have a different idea for what they want to see in dab. And just for context, for anybody who doesn't know in the chat, I'm like technically the champion of the dab tournament from this summer. So this is the first dab race that I've been defeated where I actually like didn't die or something like that, and I went undefeated in the tournament. So I've done a fairly decent,
about it. You are that.
Yeah, I've done a fairly decent amount of like looking at how things flow together and stuff like that. And so I'm really appreciative of you working on this updated thing because we talked about how some of the things needed to be adjusted. However, with that said, I personally don't prefer a lot of these new tiles, like the one with the save stations. I'm not salty about it because it led to a loss. To me, it's just junking up what would be a normal speed run. Like there's no other situation in Super Metroid in a speed run context that you would be going into these save stations except for, I guess, 100% map. But I've mentioned before on the Discord, like that's such a niche category that very few people run. In fact, you're probably not even going to find anybody actively running it at all right now on Twitch, like actually pursuing a PB. So like some of these tiles don't fit in at all with like the natural state of play across not only the 5 major categories, but a ton of the extension categories as well. And so this is one of the ones that I wouldn't necessarily prefer. With that said, though, I can understand why some people would want it in here because they're like, oh, well, this is a way that we never get to play. I think the problem with me personally, the reason I'm so sort of against some of these tiles is because we don't get to play in a dab style anyway, anywhere else except for dab. And now we're taking dab and putting in a bunch of things that make you sort of unnaturally do things you would never, ever do in a real speedrun context. And the save states is one of them. Like, it's just not fun to have to save the game 4 times. It's also just not fun to have to try to get every map tile on the surface, you know, landing site, because if I recall correctly, the map station people that run that category don't even do it after wreck ship anyway. Like, it's something they do at the end. A lot of the tiles are at the end during the escape sequence. So anyway, I'm not a huge fan of some of that stuff. Some of the other things I do like that some of the difficulty has been increased. So, you know, I think there's still room for adjustment, but, you know, clearly some people are going to prefer one thing, some people not, you know, not another, but it's cool. I think it was a really good race today and it was really challenging. I had to think really hard about, you know, how to route.
Thanks. And we definitely value your opinion here. That's definitely, it's an interesting perspective that I certainly hadn't thought of, that using, because I was definitely thinking, the reason why save stations are there is I'm looking at the map and I'm trying to understand what is the total set of goals that could be assigned of things to do, and which ones are not in dab and which ones are in dab and which ones are worth putting in. But the criteria of, reading that criteria power bomb, they're throwing me off. The criteria of it's something that you would do as part of either any percent or 100%, or I'm not sure what you consider the top 5 categories. I'm guessing low percent, and then
basically what I consider the top 5 is not really just necessarily a personal opinion. It's more based on, if you look at the board, like how far has the category been pushed, how many people run it, and what's the disparity between like the top 10, maybe 20 times. And if you look at it basically from top to bottom, any percent is obviously the most competitive and most run. 100% comes in second, but there's a pretty sizable gap. After that, low percent and RBO are pretty close. Low percent's more of a traditional category because you do low percent speed runs and, like, you know, tons of games that exist out there, if that makes sense, where RBO is a little bit more of a specific type of thing for our game because it's not the same type of RBO you might see in other games. But those are the main 4, and then 5th would be GT Classic.
Okay,
so yeah, if you kind of look at like how many people have times on the board, and again, like sort of the range of the times and how far they've been pushed, those are kind of the main ones. Obviously, we would never include any percent glitched stuff in dab, because that, you know, that would just kind of really jar everything.
I'm never gonna force people to do out of bounds climbs or any kind of glitches to complete a dab card. It should be able to be done without knowing super crazy technique.
For sure. And so, like, to be fair though, I mean, part of me, there is a significant part of my opinion where it's kind of like, it's kind of neat that we're being asked to do things that we would never ever do otherwise. So it's like there is some cool novelty to it. And then the flip side is like part of me doesn't like some of it because it's just so foreign to anything that we would normally do. And so like kind of part of me wants to have two different versions of dab, like one that's like sort of speed run oriented, and the other one that just has a bunch of craziness in it.
And then I could put my drain the acid tile back in the crazy one.
You could, but then we you know, you and I have talked a lot about this, and I love talking about the game theory. You know, that's a cool tile. I actually think it's neat that you thought to put that one in. The only problem with it is that from a macro point of view, if that's on the card, people are picking that one every time because it's the slowest possible thing there is. So then there's no, what dab is in terms of a competition between two people reading a card and trying to figure out what to assign and how to route, then it becomes like a no-brainer. You know what I mean? So it's a delicate balance, but I do think it's cool that you have worked on, you know, this and figured out some new things to do. And I really appreciate the fact that you've sponsored a dab tournament at SG Live next week. I know Aussie's going to be there. I'm excited to hang with him. I'll be there, Sweetnum. So we'll have a lot of people running this. So it'll be fun.
Oh, good. Yeah. There's so for those who don't know, there will not be a weekly match next Saturday. Because of the SG Live event. So there will be, SG Live is a grand marathon. It's in the little thing beneath our window right now, in fact. And they will be doing all sorts of different tournaments. There will be a Super Metroid Any Percent as well as a Super Metroid Dab. And then they will both have prize pools associated with them.
Yeah, so Linares, thank you for putting this on today. It was a lot of fun, and GG to everybody who raced. I'm going to go ahead and hop out of here and maybe go grab some lunch and chill for the rest of the day. But y'all have a good one, and I will catch you later.
And thank you, Kip. And we'll have some more discussion in the channel about whether or not map completion goals should be in depth. All right, with that, our final runner off stream, Iora, has finished with the official SRL time of 55:05. And for anyone who was curious, Ase, who finished first, if you don't count, Kip did finish first and would have, I believe, but if you don't count it, Ase also did row 1. So, GG everyone, and thank you for joining. We will see you next mission.